Welcome back, Spurs fans, to the Scott Hepler Football Channel. Today we're doing our pre-match ponderings of the Spurs versus Watford match coming up on the 29th of August. Our third Premier League match. We're sitting there 2-0. Great start to the season. And we're going to just sit here and go through what I think Nuno's going to do in this match, how he's going to set up the team. And I'll probably say a few things, whether I agree or don't agree or what's going on. But let's just get right into this. If you haven't done it, subscribe. Please subscribe. Support the channel. It helps me to know what I'm doing well that you all like. And, leave comments. I'm more than happy to have constructive feedback to know what you all want, what you want to see. And I'll try to get it implemented within these, within the videos and stuff that I've put up for everyone to see. Make sure you hit that like button. So I think we're going to do a 4-3-3 formation, just like we started out with the first two matches. In goal, of course, is going to be Lloris. On the left outside back, it's going to be Reguilon. He didn't get a minute of time in the midweek match, so he's fresh and ready to go. In the center, I think we're going to see Dyer and Sanchez again. It's the mentality of if it's not broke, don't fix it. I've argued over the past 2 weeks it is broke. It just hasn't cost us yet. But I think he's going to stick with them, not only because Roden is not available because of an injury situation. Romero is not quite up to speed, in my opinion, for Premier League play. And while I think he is probably the more talented and will be the better center back over the long term, Romero, that is, over Dyer and Sanchez, right now they're probably who Nuno's going to go with. And, can't really argue it as long as we understand what they are and what we have to do to protect them. And Nuno's been doing that for the first two matches. He's been using all 8 players around them to protect those two to the nth degree. And that's what he's going to have to do here, in my opinion. Out on the right, outside back, we got to stick with Tanganga. He is by far our best 1v1 defender. And our other right back options, Doherty and Aurier, which Aurier may not even be here by Sunday because there is some rumblings about Lille has sold their right back. So now they're interested again in Aurier because earlier in the window, they were interested in Aurier, but they couldn't unload their right back, so they were kind of waiting and seeing with that. So they have actually unloaded their right back. So Aurier may be an option there, or there's been even talk of Aurier going to another team. I don't know which one, but there's been some other rumblings too. But Aurier may not even be an option anymore at right back. So Tanganga is definitely our best option at right back, whether Aurier is here or not, over Doherty and Aurier. He had a rough go with Traore, but who doesn't? Everyone has a challenging day whenever they have Traore to deal with. He's just a physically demanding player to go up against. I don't think Tanganga was terrible or anything like that. He didn't show terrible. It was just a rough day for him. And he's still our best back, and we're going to need him in there. And he provides a lot of stability within that back line. And so that's who I think Nuno's going with there again, and I fully agree with it. Out on the right, left mid, I think he's going to stick Dele back in there. Not exactly impressed with Dele. These first two matches, ran 11, 12 kilometers in the first match, produced absolutely nothing. He was good for the first 15, 20 minutes of the match against Wolves, and then disappeared for the match. Didn't provide a lot, either helping out on defense or going forward. So, he's really shows up for about 15 or 20 minutes a match, and then you don't really see much out of him anymore. He's just not producing enough from that spot for me. I think Nuno's going to put him there, but that's not who I would think is the best option in my opinion. In the center, I think he's going to put Skip back in there. Skip's been he's been pretty solid. He's just not, he doesn't look like the same guy that we saw at Norwich. Of course, granted, championship level football and everything like that. It's just, I think he's in his head a lot. And so things are working a little slow. He's working through things a little slower at this point, but he's not doing anything bad or detrimental or, just terribly hurting the team at this point. I think he's a positive to have in there. And it's getting him that valuable Premier League game experience that he needs. So things will quicken up for him, and he'll, the game will slow down, but his mind and his thought process will be firing rapid fire. It'll be more muscle memory rather than having to think through every little aspect of what he needs to do here. And I think, it's good experience for Skip. He needs to be in there. When, we just don't have any other great options right now, in my opinion, in that holding midfield position. Because that's kind of what he is right now. That's what they've been utilizing him as, in that center mid, holding mid position. Out on the right, we're going to have Højbjerg again. He did play a little bit during the midweek game, but, he came on as a sub. And Højbjerg, he just goes. The guy very rarely gets a break. Of course, I think it was kind of apparent he was wearing down a little bit towards the end of last season, getting a little fatigued, but the guy's a horse. And he'll get out there and he'll fight all day long, no matter how fatigued he is. So I definitely think he needs to be out there again, especially because they're going to try to, really solidify their midfield by going with a 4-1-4-1 formation, if not even packing it in even more. So like going a 3-5-1-1 or something like that. But the fact of the matter is they're going to really try to hamper our midfield, and he's probably our best midfielder at this point in time right now. Oh, also, Ndombele's not even available. So, even though he's not, they haven't said he has an injury per se, he's just flat not available. So, that being said, out on the left forward position, I think we're going to have Song out there. Because in the middle, I think that he's going to go ahead and start Harry Kane, even though Harry played for about 70 minutes, a little more than 70 minutes in the midweek match. But with the international break coming up after this weekend, why not start Harry Kane? At worst, he plays a half, and then you can shuffle the deck a little bit if you need to. But get him out there, get him involved right out the gate. Maybe we grab a couple goals in the first 45 minutes, and we're sitting a lot better going into halftime, and you can just decide what you need to do with Harry after that. And Harry looked pretty fit during that match. In my mind, I thought he was fairly fit, looked pretty active and stuff. So, especially early on, so I think we should be playing Harry and starting off with this match. Of course, Song's going to be out there doing his thing. He's got a good start to this season, been very engaged and involved in the build-up play and the link-up play between him and Mora and Bergwijn. So I think that's what we need to start with, those two on the left and the middle. And then out on the right, I think we need to go with Mora, in my opinion. He didn't have a great match against the Wolves. He was really good against Man City. But he's going to cause some issues with that Watford back line, because Watford, while they do have size and some ability to them, in that Brighton match, they showed to be very susceptible at times and very often disorganized. And that's one thing that Mora can do in there, is create a lot of havoc with his movement, his ball play. And it's just whether he can either finish it or get it off to someone in an advantageous position. And so I think Kim being in there is a great thing. Now, myself, I would prefer to see Bergwijn in there other than Dele, because I think Bergwijn provides more. He works as hard as Dele does, and he'll track back and help. And he did that in a 4-2-3-1 formation. He's familiar with tracking back and helping. Neither of them are, I don't consider Dele truly as that number 8 or outside midfielder either. So neither is Bergwijn. So neither of them are 8s. So it's really pick your poison. Which one's going to provide the most value, the most productivity to you? In my mind, it's Bergwijn. But, I don't know what Nuno's going to go with. but I think he's going to go with Dele. But I would put Bergwijn in there. Then if you need to pull off Kane after, like my previous scenario, get a couple goals the first half, Kane needs to come off after 45 to 55, 60 minutes. Move Song in the middle, push Bergwijn back up to the wing, and then you can move Dele back into that midfield if you want. Or you have other options like Lo Celso. I thought Lo Celso had a solid game against Ferreira, much better than previous match. Of course, he had better help around him in the second match. I mean, we had a lot of young guys in that first match, and you could tell things were disjointed, not just with Lo Celso, but the entire team and setup. There was a lot of disjointed movement and actions and play, and which led to us losing that first leg. And so I think Lo Celso even would be a better option in here than Dele Alli, in my opinion. Lo Celso has a great work rate. He'll track back. He's just as technical, if not more, in my opinion, than Dele. And he gets involved. He doesn't just show up for 15 minutes a match and then you don't know what he's done other than run 12 kilometers for a match. Which does absolutely nothing. If you're just running for running's sake, it doesn't accomplish anything in helping the team succeed, in my opinion. But that leaves us a decent bench if we go with this team here. And like I said, Sissoko is gone, so he's going to be out. I don't know if he'll be available for the Watford match or not, but he's gone. As of today, Friday, he's been sold to Watford. Now, it was a fee of, I want to say just a few million, 3 to 5 million pounds. So nothing great, nothing grand. We're not going to go and buy the world with it, but hey, we got someone off our books that we needed to get out of here, and that's a positive. So it still leaves us a decent squad backup. We have, if we set it up like I think Nuno's going to set it up, while Bergwijn, Romero, Heel, Winks had a decent match in the midweek, but he still just, to me, can't handle the pace and how the quickness that things happen within the Premier League. He's just proven to me at this point that that's not something he has the capability to do anymore. And so, you just got to look at it and say, that we got what we got. And so we'll have a decent little bench, but nothing great. And so we'll be relying on whoever starts to carry the load for at least the first 65, 75 minutes of the match. And not just carry the load, but produce and do well and get us out on that front foot. But looking at this, I think that we're going to win 3-1. Depending on how Nuno opens things up, and if he doesn't use the same formation and keep things nice and tight and compact, not just with the formation, but how he works that formation, and basically defend from the half line back instead of pushing all the way up, I think we will give up a goal, maybe even more, if we really open ourselves up. Because I think they have the ability to counter attack and hurt us against Dyer and Sanchez in that middle significantly. But I think we can get a good 2 to 3, I think is likely, but we may push up even into 4 or 5 goals depending on how well our boys are clicking and working that combination play. And something that's going to be interesting if Kane starts, things have been working well with Bergwijn, Son, and Mora up front, especially because they've been able to interchange and flow with a lot of fluidity in and amongst each other. Where a lot of times when Kane's up there, it becomes more of a static build-up in our offense. It's imperative that we keep that same kind of flowing fluidity with Kane in there. Otherwise, it's going to become more difficult for us to score, in my opinion. So let me know what you all think. And, big match here. We can go 3-0 to start off the season going into the international break. And starting off next month with a myriad of Premier League matches, Cup, English Cup matches, and Conference League. So, a lot of opportunity here. So let's see what the Spurs do with a team that we should beat. This has been an Achilles heel of Spurs over the years. Just because we're supposed to beat someone doesn't mean we pull through and follow through with that. So this will be a nice way to see what are Spurs going to do going forward through, the next month or even through the rest of the year. But, I'm excited, looking for a win, and come on, you Spurs.